This is Valley View News.
Police officers in California are worrying more about people driving under the influence of prescribed medication.
I actually got a grant for 4 years that I was going here for my undergrad.
A study shows California State University students have less debt than students in many other states. Former Scottish Cardinal Keith O'Brien has apologized for engaging in sexual misconduct.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Sharnae Davenport.
And I'm Jacqueline Galvan. College students in California are fortunate when it comes to how much they owe in student loans. Researchers say California students have the third lowest amount of debt compared to those in other states.
Valley View's Melanie Shale joins us from the newsroom with more on the story.
The study looked at students in public and private schools across the nation. It found that CSU students have one of the lowest levels of debt. Cal State Northridge fares even better with less student debt than the CSU statewide average.
One of the most important issues facing college students today is how they will pay for it. Student loan debt in the United States is quickly approaching the $1 trillion mark. However, there is some good news for students in California. The Institute of College Access and Success says CSU students have one of the lowest debt levels in the nation. CSU spokesperson Stephanie Thara knows why.
California State University prides itself on being able to provide access for all students, and we totally understand that there are financial hardships, and we try to provide enough financial aid for students.
The CSU average student loan debt is $19,000. Here at CSUN, it is slightly lower at $16,000. Experts say there are a few reasons why.
There are a lot of things that differentiate what a student can get in financial aid, income level being one of the main things. So students who are low income receive more in grants, and both from the federal and the state government.
Fala says that it also depends on the campus and what the student need is.
Very often students will take loans not to cover only their direct educational costs, but also the cost of living while they're getting their education.
CSUN students react to their school ranking so low in student loan debt.
CSUN offers a lot of grants and stuff to help students out. I actually got a grant for 4 years that I was going here for my undergrad. So I have low student loans because of the grants and stuff, that the financial aid that they were able to offer.
It is a public university and the tuition isn't very high, so I think that is one of the reasons why it ranks lower than other public universities in California.
My student debt is way too high, and even though I haven't racked up as much as the average for the nation, but I'm shocked to find out that Northridge's level of student loans for students is so low.
Thara and Fallis say more than half of CSU graduates have no debt. The CSU provides many of the students with grants and waivers so they don't have to pay out of pocket. Back to you in the studio.
President Obama has kicked off the first cabinet meeting of his second term. His administration says they are working to reduce the effects of the automatic spending cuts, but won't let the sequester become the only focus. The cabinet's agenda includes items regarding the nation's immigration and school systems and reducing gun violence. Some new faces at the cabinet meeting included Chuck Hagel as Defense Secretary and Jacob Blue as the new Treasury Secretary. Obama is aware that the automatic budget cut plan could dominate his administration. He says cuts won't be felt right away, and he believes his plan is best for the majority of Americans.
I still believe we can and must replace these cuts with a balanced approach. One that combines smart spending cuts with entitlement reform and changes to our tax code that make it more fair for families and businesses without raising anyone's tax rates. That's how we can reduce our deficit without laying off workers or forcing parents and students to pay the price. I don't think that's too much to ask.
The sequester calls for cuts with Head Start early education programs and air traffic controllers. The sequester also calls for cuts in education, which puts 1,200 teaching jobs at risk and affects more than 187,000 students.
Some small businesses that rely on tourism have started to feel the effects of the government sequester. Officials in Wyoming are delaying the opening of several Yellowstone National Park entrances for at least 2 weeks because of the impact of budget cuts on snow removal. The local Chamber of Commerce says the delay will cost related businesses several millions of dollars. According to Forbes, 8 of the top 25 U.S. tourist destinations are national parks. Other sites affected by cuts include the National Mall, Statue of Liberty, and Gettysburg.
Former Scottish Cardinal Keith O'Brien admitted to having engaged in sexual misbehavior and promised to stay out of the church's public life. O'Brien initially rejected the claim, saying he was resigning because he did not want to distract from the upcoming conclave. He says to those he has offended, he apologizes and asks forgiveness. O'Brien will now spend the rest of his life in retirement. O'Brien had been Britain's highest-ranking Catholic leader until he resigned last Monday.
Roman Catholic cardinals have opened talks on choosing a successor to Pope Benedict XVI. The conclave is expected to start on March 11th, but no official date has been set. The conclave is the official voting for the new pope. Cardinals say they want to be done by Palm Sunday on March 24th. The Vatican has not commented on Scottish Cardinal Keith O'Brien's resignation amid accusations of sexual misconduct. Cardinal Francis George of Chicago says the ability of the next pope to handle the ongoing sexual abuse scandal will be an important issue.
An HIV cure may be getting closer. Doctors are reporting that a child born with HIV has been cured of the infection. The 2-year-old Mississippi girl only has trace amounts of the virus left and has been able to keep the virus in check without medication. Doctors say their next step will be trying to repeat the treatment in other children. Skeptics say the Mississippi girl was not actually infected. The Mississippi girl is the second patient in the world known to be cured from HIV. The first was an infant in 2007 who received a bone marrow transplant from a donor who had HIV-resistant cells.
Drunk driving has been a problem for decades, but what about drivers who are under the influence of over-the-counter cough medicine? Jacqueline Galvan has the story.
Cops were extra cautious last weekend when it came to sobriety checkpoints. As the cars began to line up one after the other, officers initiated the DUI test, along with asking if they have been drinking that night. However, it's not just alcohol these cops are checking for. Cold medications or allergy medications are known to impair a person's driving, and along with medical marijuana, these drugs can possibly give you a DUI in the future due to a Senate bill known as SB 289. Pedestrians in Los Angeles have thoughts about this future bill.
Personally, I don't think it's fair because I believe that taking medication is supposed to make you better, of course, and if you take your medication and still need to run errands, that shouldn't be the cause for you to get a ticket as being under the influence of anything.
It is fair because I think if you have medication in your system, you shouldn't be driving because it can affect the way you drive and can cause accidents.
You know, it's just not worth it.
Former LAPD officer Jim Neiman says after all the DUI arrests he has seen, people need to think twice before drinking and driving.
Well, I think the most important message is just don't do it. If you're going to drink, have a designated driver. It's not worth the risk either to yourself, to other people. You know, we're not just talking about the criminal penalties here, but, you know, God forbid you get out there and you cause an accident and you take somebody's life or you're seriously impair somebody else. And so it's just not your life that you're dealing with.
La Cañada High School students are mourning the loss of a student who died on the campus Friday. Police are investigating the case as a possible suicide after the unidentified student either jumped or fell to his death. A vigil started by students took place last Saturday. A typewriter in memory of the student's interest in journalism was among the items at the vigil. Many school events were canceled and classes resumed on Monday.
One Florida family is recovering after a sinkhole swallowed their home and killed one family member.
It's my brother, man. It was everything to me.
It sounded just like a car hit the house and him screaming.
Jeff Bush is presumed dead after his bedroom fell into the hole estimated to be 20 feet wide and 50 feet deep. Authorities officially called off the search for him after several days. Workers used construction equipment to scoop items from the house, including war medals and family pictures. According to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, sinkholes are a common problem in the state. Florida lies on bedrock that forms voids and easily collapses when it can no longer support the weight above it. The family's house was in an area known as Sinkhole Alley. This area makes up 2/3 of Florida's sinkhole-related insurance claims.
The Compton Junior Posse is a stable located in the community zoned for horses in the heart of Compton, California. For more than 25 years, kids have called it a home away from home. Valley View News reporter Lita Alikani has the story.
This is not your typical rider. Lily Luna is one of 40 students in the Compton area devoting afternoons to learning a craft that she says is an incredible feeling.
When you're riding, it's just so, it's like you're flying.
That feeling is a reward for the endless responsibilities like grooming the horses, cleaning their hooves, and getting their furry friends strapped up to ride. Junior Posse has the first inner-city high school team to compete in equestrian competitions. Trainer Nakrisha Wicks says her most memorable moment was when a student won a competition.
The first time he competed in the show, he won reserve champion. So that was like one of those moments like, oh my gosh, all the hard work you did, and look, you got a ribbon, you know?
The stable's founder, Maisha Akbar, says it's a great place for kids to gain opportunity.
A lot of people don't know that the equestrian industry is a $105 billion industry, and that there are thousands of careers that one could go into that people never would have even thought of.
She says it's all about educating the young riders.
We use horses as a motivational tool of choice, and we teach kids the value of hard work and academics and career. Develop them into leaders so that they can then give back to their community, to society, and more importantly to their families.
After more than 2 decades, their motto remains, keeping kids on horses and off the streets. In Compton, I'm Lita Alikani for Valley View News.
The private SpaceX craft arrived at the International Space Station, delivering goods and food to astronauts. Flight controllers had to solve some technical problems before the spaceship could launch. The capsule is nicknamed Dragon and landed with a ton of supplies, including mouse stem cells, food, and clothes for the 6 men on board the space station. A team of 22 Riverside High School students watched their school science projects blast off on board the spacecraft. The students engineered 2 experiments to learn how batteries and bacteria operate in space. There are only a few high schools in the world that have ever sent a science experiment to space. Dragon will remain at the space station for most of March before returning to Earth.
And coming up in sports, the Lakers make their bid for $500. Magic makes a business proposal to LeBron, and Dennis Rodman takes his act to North Korea.
Come on, let's go.
Just a minute, I gotta finish this.
Wait, you're gonna post those pictures of Mary?
Yep. She thinks she's so hot.
But her mom and dad will see them. Her grandmother, her little sister, everyone she knows, it's gonna kill her.
Who cares? Just a couple of pictures. It's no big deal.
No big deal? Don't. This has gotta stop.
Thanks for staying with us. Here's Haley Skeen with an update on your Los Angeles Lakers.
The Lakers are back at 500 after a 99-98 thriller against the Hawks at Staples Center, and without Kobe, it wouldn't have happened. Bryant poured in 34 points, including a highlight reel jam over Josh Smith, but Kobe left his best work for last. With 9 seconds to go, Bryant dove past Al Horford, right to Smith, and put in a clutch go-ahead layup to save the day. And yet they still almost gave it away. On the final play, Smith got the ball down low, but Steve Blake stole it to seal the victory. With the win, Los Angeles moves within 2.5 games of the West's 8th and final playoff spot. Magic Johnson wants LeBron James to enter next year's dunk contest so much that he's offering $1 million to the winner if James competes in the contest. The basketball world may be obsessed with LeBron entering the contest, but all the Heat wants to do is play ball. The Heat raced past the Knicks in New York to push their franchise record-winning streak to 14. James finished with 29 points and 11 rebounds for the Heat, and Dwayne Wade added 20 points himself. Carmelo Anthony contributed 32 points in a losing effort. The Heat will look to continue their winning streak next in Minnesota. For the first time in school history, Gonzaga is ranked #1 in the AP's top 25. The small Spokane University became the 57th school to be ranked #1 in the history of the poll. The Zogs took advantage of the previous poll topper Indiana's loss to rise up from the 2nd spot. It was another crazy week in college ball with 4 top 5 teams losing. Duke, Miami, and Michigan also lost. Dennis Rodman says basketball could be the common ground to start negotiations between the U.S. and North Korea. Rodman said North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un wants President Obama to call him. Rodman said the leaders' mutual love of sports could break the tension between the enemy countries. The U.S. and the UN both oppose North Korea's missile and nuclear arms programs. Rodman has been spending time with the communist leader while visiting North Korea with the Harlem Globetrotters. Rodman's former teammate Michael Jordan wants a Georgia court to dismiss the paternity lawsuit against him. Jordan says divorce filings between Pamela Smith and her ex-husband prove that the 16-year-old boy in question is not his son. The teen posted a YouTube video in December claiming Jordan's his father. In his video, the boy said he wanted Jordan to play a bigger role in his life. The lawsuit requested child support and a new birth certificate for the boy. The Los Angeles Angels have given Rookie of the Year Mike Trout a raise, but not that much. The franchise gave their star outfielder about $30,000 raise, bringing his salary to just over $500,000. Trout may be worth more than that, but baseball rules do not give players like him much leverage. Players have no say in the amount of their contract until they become arbitration eligible after their third full year. This leads to many young stars making close to the major league minimum their first few seasons in the bigs. Trout will likely become arbitration eligible after the 2014 season. And for the first time in NFL history, a woman has tried out for a team. Laura Silberman tried out as a kicker during regional tryout at the Jets practice facility in New Jersey. The former club soccer player attempted 2 kickoffs before leaving the field with an injury. Both kicks traveled less than 20 yards. The NFL said Silberman qualified for the tryout because of her athletic background, but it turns out she'd never kicked a football in a game. Well, that's all for sports. Back to you, Jackie.
Now over to Arlette for your latest entertainment news.
Here's the scoop. Britain's Queen Elizabeth has been discharged from a London hospital where she was treated for symptoms of the stomach flu. The 86-year-old was hospitalized as a precaution and smiled as she left the hospital. It was the first time the Queen had been hospitalized in 10 years. Stomach flu is inflammation of the stomach and intestines. It is usually caused by a virus and passed from person to person. Queen Elizabeth canceled her official engagements after showing symptoms of the illness. The Queen celebrated 60 years on the throne in 2012 and turns 87 in April. Fans of Britain's royal couple have gotten a glimpse of Kate Middleton's baby bump. The Duchess of Cambridge and her husband, Prince William, are in Switzerland, where they attended a friend's wedding. Prince Harry was also in attendance. The Prince and Duchess are good friends of the groom, who's played polo with William and Harry for years. The bride is an Olympic dressage rider. The couple dined casually with the other guests. William and Harry did some skiing, but the pregnant Middleton stayed off the slopes. Britney Spears' little sister is engaged. Jamie Lynn Spears announced on Twitter that her boyfriend of 3 years had popped the question. The 21-year-old star posted a picture of the engagement ring with a hashtag saying, "He did good." Jamie Lynn took a break from acting after she became pregnant as a teenager. She is currently working on making a name for herself in country music. Jack the Giant Slayer opened in a not-so-giant #1 spot. The Warner Brothers production cost nearly $200 million to make, but it only brought in $28 million in its opening weekend. The fantasy action movie stars Ewan McGregor and Nicholas Hoult. The comedy Identity Thief took the #2 spot with close to $10 million. Iron Man 3 is due out early this summer, and there's big buzz going around about the latest superhero film. Robert Downey Jr. is the actor who plays Tony Stark, the Iron Man. Downey says his patience and endurance were tested during parts where he had to wear the heavy armored suit. Filmmakers invented a way to put a camera inside Iron Man's helmet, and that made Downey feel claustrophobic. The actor says he preferred the scenes and the action over anything else, but the inside helmet segments did allow for better scenes. Fox Television is keeping the drama show The Following and the comedy show The Mindy Project for a second season. New Girl is coming back for a third season, while Raising Hope will be back for a fourth season. Fox's entertainment president, Kevin Riley, says he believes The Following could be an Emmy contender. The network is currently negotiating a fifth season for Glee and will make an announcement soon. That's it for entertainment. Now back to Charnay.
After the break, we'll let you know about a low-cost dental clinic in Burbank. The city of Los Angeles is leaning towards a no-kill policy in all animal shelters, and a man dressed up as Batman may have actually saved the day in England.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Many people may not like to think about it, but cats and dogs are being killed in shelters every day. The No Kill Los Angeles organization says they're trying to reduce the number of animal deaths, and they have a plan.
This is Fifi, a 1-year-old cat who is waiting to be adopted. She is one of the many cats and dogs at the Best Friends Animal Society shelter who were given a second chance at finding a home. There are nearly 70 million stray cats and dogs living in the U.S., and 1 every 8 seconds, at least one is being killed in a shelter. That is where organizations like No Kill Los Angeles come to place with only one mission in mind, and that is to save as many animals as they can. Executive Director of Best Friends Animal Society, Mark Peralta, says the number of animals dying is too many.
Right now there's 13,000 animals that died last year that were healthy and treatable. So there's so many still that are dying.
The NKLA is currently a 56-organization coalition to make the Los Angeles community a no-kill city and has already saved over 4,200 animals.
Best Friends Animal Society was open a year ago, and since then it's been helping animals like Cabernet find a home.
Last year, the shelter alone had nearly 3,000 adoptions. Peralta says the organization's plan is simple, to putting the NKLA's mission into practice.
One, you focus on spay and neuter. And secondly, it's just working as a coalition towards a goal.
Aside from adoptions, Best Friends Animal Society offers health care and spay and neuter. And for those who can't reach the facility, the services can come to you.
No Kill Los Angeles is currently a growing project and only plans to expand. They hope LA becomes a no-kill city in the next couple of years. A boy who was a victim of apparent bullying died at a Philadelphia hospital after being taken off life support. Bailey O'Neill, who recently turned 12, had been in a medically induced coma since January. O'Neill sustained a concussion and frequent seizures. 2 classmates allegedly beat the boy during recess at school. Criminal charges have yet to be filed as investigators determine whether the seizures were caused by the beating.
An elderly woman has died at a Bakersfield facility after a nurse on the scene refused to perform CPR. The nurse had called 911 and told the dispatcher the woman wasn't breathing. The dispatcher could be heard on tape asking with the nurse to begin CPR, but the nurse refused, saying it was against the facility's policy. The elderly woman did not have a do not resuscitate order. Legal experts say that the facility might not be responsible for the death of it, explicitly stated in its patient's agreements that it does not perform life-saving services.
Experts say kids with dental problems can also have problems in school. Dental pain is one of the top reasons kids miss school, but low-income families often can't afford the high price of dental care. A clinic in Burbank wants to change that. Valley View News reporter Wendy Aguilar has the story.
Yolette Cochran worries about paying for her daughter's dental care.
Since we don't have insurance and I'm actually job hunting.
But at the Kids Community Dental Clinic, her daughter Sierra can receive professional oral care at an affordable price.
It is $15 per patient per visit when they come in for treatments.
Director Dale Gorman says the clinic is able to provide inexpensive oral health care thanks to dentists, hygienists, and dental students who volunteer their time to treat hundreds of children each month.
And I'm here working and volunteering an average 2 times per week. I'm helping people to get better teeth, better smile, and that's really exciting for me.
Renata Cipriano has been volunteering her time for more than 2 years. She says it is important to provide oral care services along with education in order to prevent bigger problems.
You know, a lot of these cases sometimes end up in the emergency room.
Dental assistant Anna Gomez says their goal is to help those families who would otherwise go without dental care.
Parents have the mentality that if nothing hurts, there's no need to go to the dentist. And I am there to help remind them and also break that cycle.
The funding comes from corporate grants and private donations. Thanks to the care of these professionals at the Kids Community Dental Clinic, Sierra is able to smile with confidence.
Yeah, it's fine. I like going to the dentist.
Reporting from Burbank, Wendy Aguilar, Valley View News.
Another diet claim. This one says it might make people smarter and happier. The fast diet consists of eating fewer calories for 2 days and whatever dieters want to eat for the remaining 5. Dr. Michael Mosley, creator of the diet, says women are restricted to eating 500 calories or less, while men are allowed to consume 600 during those 2 days. Professor of neuroscience at Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Mark Mattson, says rats were fed the diet and seemed to improve their brain function. Researchers also say they found a link between the diet and a decreased cancer risk and increased life expectancy. The diet has become popular in Britain.
Casey Anthony has made her first public appearance since she was acquitted of murder in the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee. Anthony arrived at federal courthouse in Tampa, Florida to meet with creditors in her bankruptcy case. Anthony wore all black and avoided the media as her attorney wrapped his arm around her. Anthony filed for bankruptcy in January, claiming she's nearly $800,000 in debt with only $1,000 in assets. She's listed as unemployed. With no recent income, it's likely the last we'll see Anthony for a while. Cameras are not allowed in federal court. Her lawyer reportedly says she's been in seclusion due to numerous death threats.
The largest shopping center in the world is now being called a ghost town. New South China Mall has nearly 5 million square feet of space, enough for over 2,000 stores. The mall opened in 2005, but now it's nearly deserted. Part of the problem is the location. The mall is in a Chinese factory town where most people are struggling to make a living. Mall officials say they are planning promotional activities to bring in stores and shoppers. A similar attempt in 2007 failed.
Amazon has been asked to make a substantial donation to a women's refuge. This was announced after the UK retail giant sold T-shirts that promoted rape and violence against women. Amazon received hundreds of complaints and removed the pages from their site. The T-shirts had slogans that were a spin-off from the British slogan, "Keep calm and carry on." Some T-shirts had phrases like "keep calm and abuse women." The T-shirts were selling for about $25 each. The company, Solid Gold Bomb, made the offensive T-shirts but issued an apology. A spokesperson at Amazon UK says that the T-shirts are not available for sale.
New York high school students have raised nearly $500,000 for charity. More than 700 students from South Glens Falls created conga lines, performed Gangnam Style, the Harlem Shake, and hand jives for, get this, 24 hours. This year, students chose 40 recipients, including children and adults fighting potentially fatal illnesses. The dance marathon began in 1978, and South Glens Falls has adopted the tradition in hopes of helping people in need.
Actor Christian Bale may have had his last Batman movie, but the superhero is making real-life appearances in England. An unidentified man dressed as Batman captured a suspected burglar and took him to a police station in Bradford. The suspect is charged with handling stolen goods and fraud. This is the first villain for the Caped Crusader.
Thanks for watching Valley View News. Have a great night.